Hey everyone, welcome to the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I'm Alexa Dat, and I'm so excited to be here hosting this show with you because that's who the show is all about. It's all about you, the fan. You get to ask the questions to today's special guest, Giants pitcher Jeff Samardzija, and he's going to join us in just a little bit. But first, let me remind you how this show goes. So you, the fan, get to ask the questions. The way you do that is by clicking the green button below to sign in or sign up. That way you can get in line to ask your question, or hit me on Twitter using the hashtag Chatting Cage. That way we can see those questions and go ahead and ask them to today's guest. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Jeff to the show. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. How's your day going today so far?
Oh, it's nice. Beautiful day here in San Fran. Pretty typical. Just getting ready here to warm up, take some BP, get ready for a nice little game against the Nationals. Should be a good one. Sounds good.
Yeah, we've got that game on MLB Network, so that'll be pretty fun to watch tonight. We've got a couple of people who are hitting us up on Twitter who have tons of questions for you. This first one comes to us from Connor Eisenberg, who said you played football and baseball at Notre Dame. Why did you choose to play baseball professionally?
I chose baseball just because, it had my heart. I enjoyed going to the field every day and doing all the small things it took to become a good player, and whether it was shagging or just hanging out with the guys in downtime. I just always appreciate the game and what it offered to me. I loved football, but football was work. It was serious all the time. There wasn't too much downtime to have fun, and I just really enjoyed my days as a baseball player, and I wasn't ready to give it up yet.
Pretty cool. Yeah, you followed it up with how did football help your baseball career in any way, if it did?
Yeah, I mean, early on it helped me be very resilient and, just understand that things don't always go your way, and probably mostly with conditioning and just your physical body. I think when you come off of football, you're in great shape, you're strong, and your endurance is really high. So I think earlier in my career that helped out a lot. There was pros and cons to it for sure. There's other sides that I had to overcome too from football that didn't necessarily help baseball out too much. But there's definitely some attributes that you can take from the gridiron and apply it to baseball for sure.
All right, we got a fan who's joining us live here on the Edward Jones Chatting Cage for you with a question. What's your name and what's your question for Jeff?
Hey guys, my name is Ben, and Jeff, I was just wondering, how'd you get the nickname Shark?
Oh, well, it kind of started off my freshman year college baseball. I made fun of a senior for his appearance, and it was probably a bad move being a freshman myself and just being my day one on the team. So he just commented that I kind of look like Sharkface from a Shark Tale, which I'd never seen. But looking back at it now, I kind of see the resemblance a little bit. But it really didn't take off then. The following football season, I had a good game against Washington, and I think one of those, those old-timer announcers, said the Shark in some form or the other, and ever since then, it's kind of been what it is. So it went from Sharkface to Shark. So now it's just the Shark.
Yeah, I feel like people on Twitter are big fans of your nickname. Kara Davis 12 said, "Have you ever gone shark diving? And if not, would you want to?"
No, not diving. I'm not too great underwater, so I like to be on top fishing for them. But yeah, I've caught a lot of them. I enjoy shark fishing. It's great. I don't get rid of them though. I usually let them go. It's a catch and release thing, a little mutual respect amongst sharks, I think. So.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly how it should work. Sean Sports, also on Twitter. What's the craziest thing you've ever received from a fan that is shark related? Either like a hat or a shark tooth or a shirt?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. Probably a shark tooth. Probably from a fan from Hawaii. Wanted me to come out, invited me to dinner at their home. And yeah, it's pretty personal. I didn't take them up on it, but it's rather interesting when you get something sharp and jagged in the mail. So you just got to look out for that.
Good thing it was well-intentioned. That's always a positive start, especially from fans. All right, another fan question. Speaking of fans who very much adore you here on the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, what's your name? What's your question?
Hi, Jeff. I'm Elijah. How are you doing today?
Doing fine. How you doing?
Good. Hey, I was wondering what was going through your head when you found out that you were drafted?
I was excited, because I didn't really know what was going to happen on draft day. I knew I could play, but being a football player, I wasn't quite sure if any teams were taking me seriously about playing baseball. So I was a little nervous, and I think my ego was a little worried about getting crushed by falling in the draft down, and I ended up being taken in the 5th round, which was awesome, and to a hometown team. And, it was a really cool transition for me to go back to college and then go back and play with the Cubs. So, yeah, it was a lot of emotions, a lot of excitement, and it's kind of very surreal because you kind of wait your whole life for that moment, and then that moment happens. So it's always a little different to how you approach it and how you take it. So I just went and did an interview and talked to the GM, talked to the owner, and it all kind of sunk in over time. And it's very, like I said, very surreal. You never know how you're going to take it, but it's definitely a deep breath moment too, where realize all that hard work has paid off, and now it's time to start a new journey in your life.
Great question, Elijah. All right, we got another fan question for you here on the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. What's your name and what's your question for Jeff?
Hey Jeff, how do you think the pitching rotation has been since opening day?
It's been great. We've had some guys had to fill in here for me and Bum, and Johnny missed a start also in there. So to still be where we're at, right now with our record early in the year with losing, I would say probably 7 to 8 starts from 3 starters is huge. So we've had some guys throw the ball real well with Ty Block and the way Stratton's throwing the ball, and we even called Suarez up for that start for Johnny, and he did great from AAA. And we've really showed our depth as a pitching staff, especially as a starting staff, and we're really excited to start getting some guys back. And I know we got Will Smith coming back soon in the bullpen, so I've been really stoked about how the pitching staff has picked up for other guys and really led this team through the beginning of the year.
Well, Jeff, that leads us straight into our Edward Jones question of the day with a staff that includes Madison Bumgarner and Johnny Cueto. What have you learned from these guys in your time in San Francisco?
How to do it every start. I think, especially from a guy like Bum, you watch him go out and approach every start, and you realize he doesn't take one off, and everyone is just as important as the next, whether it's the playoffs or the first month of the season. The way Bum goes out there and competes every day is second to none. It's great to see. With Johnny, I love watching Johnny because he has fun out there, and I think in this game it gets lost sometimes because you try so hard and there's so much pressure on you, and you want to do so well, and you're working, and sometimes you lose that aspect of having fun. And to watch Johnny go out there and play baseball is, it's like watching a kid going out there and play, and very low stress, and he really understands what he can do and knows what he does well, and he goes out and does it every day, and he's just a joy to watch. So I'm very lucky to have a couple other starters that are fun to watch the days you're not pitching.
Jeff, one of your teammates was trending on Twitter this weekend, Brandon Belt, and his 21 pitch at bat. Pretty impressive. Twitter was all of us. So it was pretty cool. Julia DeJean wants to know, do you recall the longest plate appearance against you?
Probably. I think probably Dexter Fowler of 16 in the regular season to start the game. I think it was something like 14 or 15. So it's tough. That makes for a long day as a pitcher when you got to go out and waste 15, 20 pitches in the first inning on a single guy that either get out or you don't get out. So, it's a wild game, but, it's kind of the great thing about this sport is you show up every day and you never quite know exactly what you're going to see, but you're pretty much guaranteed to see something. So
yeah, if you're Jaime Bria in that situation, how do you go about actually getting the guy out who's fouling off, a dozen pitches?
I don't know. You probably just throw a nice little ephus lob ball in there, I'd assume, and just let him hit it and say, enough of this. Let's just move on to the next guy. But he ended up getting him out, and we were talking in the dugout. To throw that many good quality strikes in a row is incredible. You say a lot about Belt doing a great job at the plate, but as a pitcher to go out there and throw, essentially 15, 16 strikes in a row in a good location with 3 different pitches is not easy. So it was quite the sight to see, and it really set the tone for us as a team for the rest of the game when you have those nice strong at bats out of your top of your order.
Absolutely. Here on the Edward Jones Chatting Cage, the best part about it is the fact the fans have questions. We got another fan who is ready, is standing by. What's your name and what's your question for Jeff?
Hi, Jeff. My name is Brianna. My question for you is, who is the comedian in the clubhouse?
Comedian in the clubhouse. I mean, as much as I don't want to, get them going too much to let them know that we appreciate it and we like it. Holland, we call him Dutch. He's all over the place. So every day it's something new. He's a big Family Guy, South Park guy. So he's a comedian all the time, and it's great to have around. You got to have those lighthearted guys that break up the day for you, and it's a long season. So to have 1, 2, 3 of those guys around the clubhouse is always a great thing. So, like I said, don't tell them, but definitely Holland.
Yeah, don't worry, we won't show this to him. By the way, Jeff, with your hair blowing in the wind, that leads us perfectly into our next question. Marco Anthony Jr. wants to know, would you ever cut your hair, a la Jacob deGrom?
I would. I hate haircuts. when I was a kid, my dad used to make me have a flat top, like a military cut. So I always remember having to go in like once every other month or once a month and just get that high and tight here in the razor. And I've always hated it. So I said once I had my own, my own choice, I wasn't going to cut it. So I like to stick to about once or twice a year now and just suck it up then and cut it. But I'd rather just let it go. And yeah, why not? You got hair like this. You might as well just let it go, right?
There you go. Absolutely. Glad that you are proud of it. So we want to go back to football, your roots, for 1 second. DeSantis, 1984, said, in the spirit of NFL Draft Week, as a former receiver, do you ever think when you're watching football on Sunday, man, I could go out and do that?
I used to. So I'm 33 now, so that ship sailed. I could hold maybe, as a placeholder or something like that, but that's probably about it at this point. So it was tougher when I was younger, when I could still go out and play when I was 24 and 25. The winters were long. It was tough to watch all those Sundays and day in and day out and understand you could be doing it yourself. But, for me, I've always rested my head on the fact that I love this game of baseball, and you need to put all of your time into one thing if you want to be as good as you can, later in life. So, for me to make that decision was huge, and I've kind of just stuck with it no matter what. Sometimes you got to put blinders on and just look forward and not look back.
Yeah, well, it's worked out for you so far. Jeff, really appreciate you joining us. So congratulations on all your success and good luck this season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for all the questions, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff said exactly what we are thinking. Thank you for all of your questions, whether you tweeted them in or you were here on video chat. We're going to have a ton of Edward Jones chatting cages coming up throughout the season, so make sure you join us. I'm Alexa Dat. We'll see you then.